This past summer, I made my first trip ever down to Tennessee to visit the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. And more specifically, I was most interested in the Cades Cove portion of the Great Smokies, as for years I've heard about this location. I've heard it's a great spot to get wildlife photos, especially of white-tailed deer and black bears specifically. So in this video, I'm just going to go over my experience here as a first-time visitor, what I thought, especially some of the things I was not quite expecting, even knowing that this park is the most visited national park in the country. I still had a little bit of a surprise in some of the things that you'll see in this video later on. But if you've never been here, hopefully this video will kind of help you get a better idea of what to expect if you're ever planning to come here. So let's get to it. If you're not familiar with Cades Cove, it's located in Tennessee in the corner of Great Smoky Mountain National Park. This is an 11-mile one-way loop. It can be made shorter. You can take the crossroads of Hyatt Lane and Sparks Lane. These are both two-way roads. So a couple times I would shoot up and down those as I was doing the loop. I did have a lot of luck a couple of the mornings with black bear sightings on both of those roads. So definitely don't skip those. I did see also a barred owl flying around in the fields off of Hyatt Lane one morning, but I've been spoiled with barred owls over the years, and I was really just there for bears, so that was more my focus. I really should mention, I was here in August, so you'll see throughout this video, it probably was one of the worst times as far as visitors go to come here. It was extremely crowded. So if you're planning on coming here in the summer or even the fall or weekends, give yourself at least 4 hours. Don't plan on getting out of there before that. Now, it may not take you that long, but I got stuck here one time in one stop for a bear for at least an hour. It was insane. As you first pull up in the morning, there is a parking lot here. If you plan to bike in, you can park in this lot here, and there's a couple side lots as well as and also a bike rental place. I'll kind of circle back to bikes later. There's a gate. The loop itself is gated in. It does open usually at sunrise whenever they get there. There's usually a line of people waiting to get in. But once I was in and you get started, it really didn't take me long at all to find wildlife. The week I was here was great. I was finding bears all over the place, minimum 20 bears a day. You know, it may not always be like that. I got really lucky with the fact that the cherry trees were blossoming or blooming, and a lot of the bears were out actively feeding on those. So it was a very, very productive week as far as the number of bears and bear activity goes. But as it goes with places that are easy to see wildlife, it also attracts a lot of people. And listen, I'm all for conservation and people enjoying nature. The more people that enjoy nature, the brighter the future for public spaces and wildlife is. But as a photographer, it really kind of sucks. There was so many negative experiences with, just seeing cars like this, just so many cars, so many people just surrounding the bears and so close. And I know I was one of them, so I'm no different. But seeing a scene like this, I mean, I couldn't believe that the rangers actually were letting this many people stand out this close to the bears, which again, it's really not a problem. Black bears are actually pretty timid, but when you get this many tourists around, that generally doesn't bode well, and typically the rangers will push people out. So this was a scene that same day. I'm going to stop the frame here and kind of focus on the distance. If you look at the traffic in the background, you'll see this was just a dead stopped line of traffic, and this went on for miles. And the majority of those people never even actually got to see the bear. By the time they got up to where the bear was, it was gone. And even when I came back the next day, as you can see, the parking lot here is coned off. You weren't allowed to stop here or park, which this actually really kind of irritates me because I drove hundreds of miles to come to a national park to see wildlife. And again, it's that, double-edged sword. I get it. You can't be quote unquote harassing the wildlife, but this is what I'm here to see and to do. And it really just kind of sucks that, a lot of the experiences are just really turning into this. And as you drive the loop, it's not just bears that cause, again, the quote-unquote bear jams. People will stop for deer, turkey, almost anything. And the problem is, it's a narrow road, but there's plenty of pull-offs, but almost nobody pulls over into the pull-offs. The first car stops, and they get out with their cell phones, and then that just blocks up, and it backs up for hours. So every Wednesday, I believe from May till September, the loop is actually closed to vehicle traffic, and it's only open to foot traffic and bicycles. And this was by far my most enjoyable experience. You do have to be in relatively decent shape to ride the whole thing, but it was hands down the best day of the week. I had a lot of close encounters by myself, more intimate experiences with the bears. It was nice. None of the big crowds or anything like that. So if you can bike it or walk, highly recommend this option. All things considered, I did get a lot of good shots, I think. But again, the reality of it is a lot of the shots were like this. It was dodging people in the background and, trying to hide from just the massive hordes of people that were here. And that just really kind of put a damper on the experience overall. And in fact, actually a couple of the mornings, I really didn't feel like dealing with the crowd so much that I went elsewhere and just kind of found some waterfalls, especially in the evenings. Mornings are generally better, but sunset time, it's too crowded. So I went off and found some of these waterfalls, which was great. But again, all things considered, it was actually a very productive week. I had a great time filming the bears and the cherry trees. I'm not sure that I would ever come back, at least not in the summer. I may try again in the fall someday. But I'll leave you just with some of the clips that I got. I hope you enjoy it. I hope maybe this video was useful if you plan to visit here. And thanks for watching.